The NBA just witnessed one of the most mind-blowing single-season accomplishments in NBA history when Victor Wembanyama reached 200-plus blocks and more than 100 threes in just his rookie season. The fact that he is already this good at such a young age is terrifying and lets us know the things to come in the not-so-foreseeable future. But apart from all that, did you know that he wasn't the first one to actually achieve such a feat, but rather a tall white guy who can shoot three-pointers and block shots? And no, it's not Larry Bird or Dirk Nowitzki, but none other than this guy.
And we're going to check the score. Lafrentz trying to know where the trailer is.
Yep, that's him. Raef Andrew Lafrentz was born on May 29, 1976 in Hampton, Iowa. Imagine this, a small town where everyone knows everyone, and basketball wasn't just a sport, it was woven into the fabric of the community. With his father Ron serving as an assistant coach at his high school, MFL Merrimack, Raef was practically born with a basketball in his hands. He wasn't just dribbling before he could walk. He was probably practicing his jump shot in his crib. This early exposure wasn't just playtime, it was the foundation for his future success. By the time Raef reached high school, he was a local legend, leading his team to multiple conference championships and earning a spot on the prestigious USA Today All-USA First Team. His dominance even landed him an invitation to the prestigious McDonald's All-American Game, a showcase for the nation's top high school prospects. Lafrentz, now 47, was one of the nation's top high school players during his prep days at MFL Merrimack High School in Monona, Iowa. It was former Kansas head coach Roy Williams who won the recruiting battle for the McDonald's All-American, calling him every Sunday night for a year. Choosing where to take his talents was challenging for Raef, but he ultimately decided to join the University of Kansas. The Jayhawks were on the rise, and Raef saw an opportunity to be part of something special. It turned out to be a perfect match. Alongside future NBA star Paul Pierce, Lafrentz became a force to be reckoned with. Opposing teams quickly learned that guarding Raef was a double-edged sword. He could stretch the floor with his smooth shooting touch from beyond the arc, making him a nightmare matchup for traditional big men who weren't comfortable venturing outside the paint. But if they decided to sag off him to contest the three, Raef could attack the rim with surprising athleticism. His dominance translated into a trophy cabinet, overflowing with awards. A two-time consensus first-team All-American and a two-time Big 12 Player of the Year. He even finished his college career as the school's second all-time leading scorer, just behind the legendary Danny Manning. Lafrentz averaged 15.8 points and 9.1 rebounds a game while shooting 55.5% from the floor with his soft left-handed touch. During his 4 years at KU, the Jayhawks posted a 123-17 record, and he was a part of a senior class that won more games over a 4-year period than any class in KU history. Lafrentz became the first KU player to average a double-double in 27 years when, as a senior, he averaged 19.8 points and 11.4 rebounds a game. The 1998 draft was a star-studded affair, with names such as Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Rashard Lewis, and Anton Jamison are all featured on the board. The future of the league was on display. Raef Lafrentz's NBA draft journey began in 1998 when he was selected as the third overall pick by the Denver Nuggets. Hailing from the University of Kansas, Lafrentz was highly regarded for his versatile skills as a power forward and center, known for his perimeter shooting and shot blocking abilities. Lafrentz entered the league with high expectations after being selected as the third overall pick by the Denver Nuggets in the 1998 NBA draft. Standing at 6 foot and 11 inches and weighing 240 pounds, he brought a unique skill set to the court, combining inside presence with an impressive three-point shot. Raef Lafrentz's arrival on Denver was met with excitement, In his rookie year, Lafrentz showcased his potential by averaging 13.8 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks, along with a solid efficiency of 46% from the field and a near 40% from 3 on 2.6 attempts. However, just as things were doing good for Raef, his rookie season was tragically cut short by a torn ACL and meniscus after just 12 games. This devastating injury not only limited his impact that year, but it has hampered his offensive development and overall athleticism in the long run. Despite the setback, Raef Lafrentz showcased his flashes of brilliance in his first few healthy seasons with the Nuggets. He averaged nearly 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game with an average efficiency of 46% from the field and 36% from 3 on nearly 3 attempts per game. Unfortunately, Lafrentz's tenure with the Nuggets was short-lived, lasting only 4.5 seasons. Inconsistency due to lingering effects of the injury and the team's overall struggles ultimately led to a trade. In 2002, Raef Lafrentz found himself traded to the Dallas Mavericks alongside teammates Nick Van Exel, Avery Johnson, and Tariq Abdul-Wahad for Juwan Howard, Donald Harvey, Tim Hardaway, and a 2002 first-round pick. This move proved to be a turning point in his career. Lafrentz thrived in this new role. He wasn't expected to be the primary scorer, but his ability to stretch the floor and protect the rim made him a perfect complement. Interestingly, the 2001 and 2002 season, the year Lafrentz was traded to the Mavericks, also marked the year he achieved the historic feat of recording over 200 blocks and 100 threes, a record that would stand until Victor Wembanyama matched it years later. In the 2002 first-round matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he effectively gave superstar Kevin Garnett a hard time throughout the series, especially in Game 1 where he had 2 huge blocks against him.
Spin move from Smith away and blocked by Lafrentz. Get it? Goes back, blocked by Lafrentz.
Garnett at that time was then held down to 19 points, shooting 6 of 18 from the field. The same thing happens the rest of the series as the Mavericks would then go on and beat the Timberwolves 3-0, with Raef Lafrentz being a key factor in the Mavericks series victory with him playing both sides of the ball. Shortly after that, the Mavericks would then move on to the second round, in which they would face off against possibly the greatest team that never won a title, namely the 2002 Sacramento Kings. The Mavs lost Game 1 in a blowout with a score of 91-108, and in that game, despite having 3 blocks, Raef played terribly, shooting 1 for 7 from the field and only 3 points. He would eventually come back the next game with 14 points and 5 blocks, which was enough for them to win the game. Raef would then do the same the next game with him scoring 24 points, but ultimately wasn't enough against the Kings' firepower as they lost the next 2 games moving forward. The following year, the Dallas Mavericks decided to sign Raef to a 7-year and $70 million contract due to his contributions and impact to the team. Later that season, the Mavericks won a franchise record at the time of 60 games. The Mavericks would then go on to the playoffs, winning round 1 against the Blazers, with Raef having a huge Game 3, putting up 20 points and 4 made threes, which was considered huge at the time. The Mavericks would then go up 3-0 in hopes of putting away the Blazers in Game 4. However, the Blazers had other plans and was able to push the series to 7, but to anyone's excitement lost in the end, with the Mavericks scoring 107-95 victory. Raef and the Mavericks would then move on to the second round to fight a familiar face, the Sacramento Kings. This time, the Mavericks finally won against their conference rival, albeit took them 7 games, with Webber suffering a career-ending knee injury in Game 2 and was out of the whole series. Despite all of that has happened, it still doesn't take away Raef's performances in both Game 5 and 6, with a combined total of 29 points and 11 blocks. While Raef and the Mavericks would win the second round shortly after this, they would soon meet their demise against the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. Despite the loss though, Raef managed to put up some solid performances here and there, with 15 points and 2 blocks in Game 2, 10 points and 5 blocks in Game 3, and 12 points and 4 blocks in Game 6. Soon after that postseason run with the Mavs, the organization figured that it's time to move on and decide to do a trade. Trading away Lafrentz with his huge contract along with Chris Mills, Jerry Welsh, and a first-round draft choice in exchange for Tony Delk and all-star Antoine Walker, in which later on they'll soon regret. Raef Lafrentz's arrival in Boston reunited him with former college teammate Paul Pierce. Raef spent 3 seasons with Boston, and despite being sidelined for the most of his first season in 2004 due to an injury, he played 80 and 82 games in 2005 and 2006, starting 143 of those 162 games. In 2005, he was a crucial contributor to the team against the Pacers. He averaged more than 11 points per game and was clearly in the mix. Raef even dropped an unexpected 21 points, shooting 5 for 5 from 3 and only 1 missed shot. After Game 1 though, they would then lose to the Pacers in 7, with Lafrentz playing horribly during the next couple of games with averages of 2.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.5 blocks with terrible efficiency. In 2006, the team stagnated and lost its identity. Raef's role afterwards was not as prominent. Lafrentz's career took a challenging turn as injuries began to plague him. He found his playing time limited and his peak performance hindered. The next season, he was traded along with Dan Nico and the 7th pick to the Blazers for Ratliff and Sebastian Telfair. Sadly, this was Raef's last stop, as the injuries are finally getting caught on him, as he only played 66 games in his last 2 seasons with career lows of 2.5 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 0.4 blocks per game with terrible efficiency. Raef wasn't just a guy who could space the floor with his shot. He was a marksman, hitting over 36% from beyond the arc for his entire career. But his defensive game was no joke either. He was a shot-blocking machine, finishing in the top 8 for blocks multiple times. In 2002, he almost took home the crown for most blocks per game. While rebounding wasn't his biggest strength, he did his part on the glass too. In terms of the playing style and impact on the game, Raef Lafrentz was a pioneer in the stretch 5 position, blending size with shooting prowess. His ability to space the floor and protect the rim would make him a valuable asset in today's fast-paced, perimeter-oriented NBA. His versatility and skill set would seamlessly integrate into modern NBA offenses, creating mismatches and disrupting opponents' game plans. Since retiring from basketball, Lafrentz hasn't stayed far from the game. In 2019, he returned to his Iowa roots, taking on an assistant coaching role at Decorah High School. Here, he comes full circle, sharing his knowledge and passion for the sport with the next generation of aspiring basketball players. So, the next time you hear about Wembanyama's incredible achievements, remember the name Raef Lafrentz. While Wembanyama may have brought the feed back into the spotlight, Lafrentz was the original king of the 200-plus blocks and 100 threes club. Beyond the statistics and accolades, Raef Lafrentz's story is a testament to perseverance and the impact a player can have on the game, even if they don't quite reach superstardom. Do you want more content just like this one? Then please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that bell notification for more videos.